have some interesting pop culture stuff to, well, pop culture, political culture, culture, whatever you want to call it. I know not everyone is a fan of Matt Walsh. I rarely ever watch the guy. I'm not even subscribed to his channel. But I watched some of this video, and I think he's breaking what's going down pretty well with what we're going to be talking about, what I'm going to be reacting to in this video with Rodney Hinton and everything that led up to this. So we're going to watch some of this, and we're also going to react to a second video. This is going to be a little bit more of a longer one, but bear with me.
Decades of justifying and excusing criminality have led us to a point where people who commit blatant first-degree murder are celebrated. Around 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday, a man named Rodney Hinton went to his lawyer's office in Ohio and watched body camera footage of his son's death. And in particular, the footage shows Hinton's 18-year-old son, Ryan, emerging from a stolen vehicle while carrying a handgun. At one point, Ryan drops the gun and then picks it up, and soon afterward, he's shot and killed by a police officer. None of these facts are in dispute. The video makes it all very clear.
Now, I didn't know anything about this stuff. I had heard rumors about it, but I didn't know any of the details. So I've been doing a little bit more research and watching videos today, and it's pretty insane. And the second video, be sure to stick around to the end, because the second video that we're going to watch, we're only going to watch a little bit of it, but it's from another YouTuber who basically calls all of us white people devils. And, yeah, you'll see. Did you guys know that for most of the people watching YouTube videos, only a small percentage of those people are actually subscribed to those channels? But subscribing is really quick and easy. All you have to do is first to make a YouTube account, which is free, and then after that, go down to the video that you're watching, hit the like button, which goes a long way in helping out the algorithm, and then go over and hit the subscribe button. After you've hit the subscribe button, click the drop down arrow and click the option that says all, so that can notify you whenever a new video from this creator has dropped. Subscribing is free, and making a YouTube account is also free. It allows you to keep up with all of your favorite content creators, and of course it goes a long way in helping out my channel, and I really do appreciate it. So with all of that being said, back to the video.
In a matter of seconds. It all began with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood, Kentucky. GPS tracking led the investigation here, a condo complex in East Price Hill. Officers arrived, and Chief Terry Thiegy explains what happened next.
Man, she's
All
short.
four individuals get out and start running. Some in different directions. So officers decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand.
At some point, the person with the gun slips.
They heard the metal from the firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpster.
So this kid was 18, by the way. He had a stolen car, and he gets out with his friends, has a gun, starts running, drops to the ground, drops his gun, goes to reach and grab his gun, gets shot.
The reason the Hinton family was watching this footage,
They're all black, by the way.
in an attorney's office, is that, of course, they were contemplating a lawsuit against the city.
That normally wouldn't matter or shouldn't matter, but it matters to this story, just so you know.
For wrongful death. That was certainly what their attorney was thinking about. In fact, even after viewing this footage, the family's lawyer, who incidentally works for the Cochran firm, as in the late Johnny Cochran's firm, maintained that they had a case. And here's what the family's lawyer said as a way of arguing that the police officers were somehow responsible in this scenario. Quote, being in a stolen car, having a firearm, firearms, we're in Ohio, you know, so you can open carry in Ohio. That's not a death penalty, close quote. Now, admittedly, it's not quite as catchy as if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit, but it's still a pretty remarkable line of argument.
Yeah, I just keep thinking about that South Park episode with Johnny Cochran.
From the Cochran firm, all things considered. After watching the footage of Ryan Hinton exiting a stolen car with a handgun, then dropping the handgun and picking it up as police chased him, and then turning towards the officers, the conclusion from these lawyers is that Hinton was murdered simply for open carrying a firearm. He got the death penalty for doing nothing wrong whatsoever, even though his gun wasn't holstered, and even though he was waving it around while committing a felony, and even though all of this is recorded, we're supposed to conclude that Ryan Hinton was open carrying, and that's why he was shot. Now, this is a level of shamelessness that in another era would lead to a flurry of lawyer jokes on late night television, but it's not a joke to millions of people at the moment. It certainly wasn't a joke to Rodney Hinton, the father of the teenager who was killed. Just hours after he viewed the body camera footage of his son's death, Rodney Hinton got in his car with the intent of executing a police officer. He saw it as an act of revenge, and ultimately he found a target. He ran over a recently retired sheriff's deputy who was directing traffic outside the commencement ceremony at the University of Cincinnati. The slain officer, a Hamilton County deputy named Larry Henderson, had never met the killer before. They'd never exchanged words. Watch.
It's insane.
Recently retired sheriff's deputy is dead after police say a driver intentionally hit him. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tricia Mackey.
And I'm Rob Williams. Cincinnati police say the driver is the father of an 18-year-old who was shot and killed by police yesterday.
Cincinnati police say the father of the 18-year-old who was shot and killed by Cincinnati police on Thursday was driving the car that hit and killed a deputy Friday afternoon.
Damn, it looks like he hit the pole too. This is the guy right here, Hamilton. Or
Jr. is now charged with aggravated murder for the deputy's death.
Yeah, that's insane. This guy sees the video of his son getting shot and just loses it and just goes on, like just goes out and says, I'm just gonna find a cop and just run him over.
We need to shut down right now.
And this guy was a retired police officer.
Cincinnati police say the deputy was directing traffic ahead of UC's graduation ceremony when he was struck by a vehicle entering the intersection.
Jeez.
It happened around 1 p.m. at the intersection of Martin Luther King Drive and Burnett Woods Drive near UC's campus.
Now, Rodney Hinton knew that the police were justified in killing his son because they had just watched the body camera footage. He knew that the police did nothing wrong.
That wouldn't matter. I mean, if you just watch your son, he was just going off of blind rage. Like, you just know it. He's grieving father, going off of blind rage, and just made a very bad decision.
If the father wanted to take revenge on anyone for causing his son's death, well, he should have taken revenge on himself. I mean, if your 18-year-old son is out with a gun stealing cars, it means you failed as a father.
Yeah, based. I agree.
Okay, even a minimal amount of fatherly guidance would avoid a situation like that.
Yeah, seriously.
Kids make bad decisions doesn't always mean that it's an indictment on the parents. But if kid's only 18 and he's already out with a gun committing felonies, then, like, yeah, you failed in the most basic way imaginable. So blame yourself.
Yeah, he's right.
You know, it's on you. But instead of taking revenge on himself, Rodney Hinton decided to kill a police officer who was directing traffic. So this should be an open and shut case in every sense. The father is a murderer. His revenge, obviously, cannot be justified legally.
No.
And any hope of defending it morally is destroyed by the fact that, I mean, it's murder. It's destroyed by that. But also, the shooting of Rodney Hinton was justified, so it's not even like, you know, he's taking revenge on someone who murdered his kid. And also, the cop he killed had nothing to do with it anyway.
Yeah.
So
just an innocent guy. It's insane.
This is not like a Gary Plauché situation where a father...
Unless you think all cops are pigs, or all cops are bastards. Unless you believe in this kind of racial lie that all cops are evil and they should just all be gutted. Unless you think and believe that way, which is kind of a message that has been pushed now for a while.
Pushed and killed the man who kidnapped and molested his son. This is an act of premeditated, cold-blooded murder against a random white cop who is entirely innocent and had nothing to do with the situation at all. And yet, stop me if you've heard this one before, this murderer is being lionized and defended on social media. The father who just executed a sheriff's deputy in order to avenge his criminal son who flashed a gun at the cops is the latest celebrity in certain corners of social media. The viral clips defending this murderer are all over TikTok. I mean, you can go to TikTok if you want.
Of course, TikTok.
Just type in his name and you'll see just nothing but these kinds of videos. So here's just one example.
Now, mind you, the kid is only 16 years old. You know, they said he had a gun. This is what they said, but in that picture, it looked like he was running away, so I don't see the threat. But sad as it may sound, when this happened, they actually show his father the video of them unaliving his son, and that's what led to
unaliving his son. You're leaving out a lot of details
this.
there.
As you can see, it's a bunch of officers, it's a bunch of them in the courtroom surrounding the father while he's in an orange jumpsuit. Now, why is this father in an orange jumpsuit? Police didn't shoot him. You might ask, right? Because the very next day, he took justice in his own hands and went and unalived a police officer.
He took justice. How do you phrase it that way? He took justice in his own hands. The second video we're going to watch, I couldn't believe it. Just stick around. It gets even worse.
The age of the so-called kid wrong, as he's showing these sympathetic photos in the background. Rodney Hinton was 18, not 16, when he jumped out of the stolen car with the firearm. But the bigger issue with the video is the claim that the father, quote, took justice in his own hands by murdering a random police officer. Notice how there's no pretext here about how the officers did something wrong or violated procedure or any of that. There's no explanation of how it's justice to kill a random traffic cop or to unalive a traffic cop, as this guy puts it. It's just assumed that killing a random white police officer is an appropriate response to the death of a black criminal, and millions of people find this reasoning persuasive at the moment. I mean, that's the situation we're in right now.
It's just gotta be, I suppose it would just be misinformation. I mean, if you just, I don't know what else to describe it. If you just present all the facts and just lay it all down, I mean, how can you be cheering this guy on and being like, this guy's a hero and stuff? You know, I mean, it's horrible that a kid, I mean, a young man, I would say, got killed, but he put himself in that situation, and his father, like this guy says, certainly did fail him. I mean, if he's out there stealing cars, has an illegal gun, but it's horrible that he did die, that's not good. But man, like, the father goes on and gets revenge. How can you just, how can, it's a horrible story, it's a heartbreaking story, and maybe you can feel for him, but how can you, support and just be like, man, this guy did the right thing? He took a car and just randomly drove and murdered and ran over just this retired police dude who had nothing to do with his son's murder for no other reason than he was a cop. How can you think that's okay?
For the past half century
That's insane
or so,
to
every
me.
aspect of American civic life has been devoted, at least superficially, to preventing a situation like this. I mean, if you spend trillions of dollars enacting a regime that rigidly enforces the seemingly laudable goal of racial equality, and then, surely, eventually, you'll arrive at a point where all men are judged based solely on the content of their character. I mean, that was supposed to be the idea anyway. That's the grand experiment we've all been participating in for our entire lives. And with each passing day, it's becoming more and more clear that this experiment is crashing down all around us. We are heading very directly towards open and overt racial conflict. And
Seems like it. Seems like it.
Here's another similar video, which has more than 20,000 likes on TikTok. We'll mute the audio because it's just obnoxious rap music, but here's what it looks like. It shows Rodney Hinton in court in a jumpsuit, surrounded by a bunch of police officers. And there's the caption that the uploader has added, quote, "They really tried to use over 30 deputies to intimidate Rodney Hinton, but he kept his head up." Close quote.
Look at this guy.
Again, this post has more than 20,000 likes. It's not some random troll that didn't get any attention. It's one of the most popular posts about Rodney Hinton's arrest, and people are responding to it because they genuinely believe that Hinton is a hero, or at the very least, he was justified, or at the very least, he's a sympathetic figure. There's no rational argument that he's innocent, or...
I wonder if he has any other kids, or a wife. Oh, I'm sorry, baby mama, because that's normalized. Baby mama, because that's for some reason, baby mama and baby daddy, that's like a normal thing, and that's okay. I wonder if he has anyone else in his life who actually cares about him, because he screwed them over now too. Like, he's gonna spend the rest of his life in jail. Like, does he have any other kids, I wonder? What about, like, his wife or his baby mama or his other kids or his friends or his family,
that he was actually justified, or that his son was innocent. So this is just pure racial resentment spilling right out in the open. I mean, that's all it is. There's a lot of talk about government debt, but after 4 years...
Oh no, we're gonna go ahead and skip these ads. The good old Daily Wire is famous for them.
We'll play part of that.
Look at this. They put sad music in the background. I mean, he's a mourning father. And it's like, I get it. Like, you absolutely can mourn. It's your son. Your son's dead. And, I mean... But this isn't the way. Like, going out and getting revenge and killing someone. You can't justify that, you know?
Now, you look around any social media platform and you'll find plenty of posts like this. It's not just TikTok. On X, here's a post with roughly 700 likes. Quote, Rodney Hinton had no criminal record before he killed an Ohio cop in retaliation for the cops killing his son. The police department brought 30 cops to his hearing to intimidate him. Close quote. So apparently you get to kill a cop if you have no prior criminal record, and the police aren't allowed to guard you either, even after you've just murdered somebody. Then there's this post with more than 1,000 likes. Quote, all I'm saying is if a cop killed my son, I'm airing out the precinct. Rodney Hinton Jr. is a saint and a hero.
Man, that's insane. A saint and a hero. Like, if a white dude had done it, they would have done the same thing. Like, if a white dude went out and got revenge for his son and murdered a cop, it's same sentencing. They would have done the same stuff. Man.
Close quote.
But there wouldn't be this kind of collective, hey, this guy's a hero. No. Everyone would be saying, this guy's a monster for doing that. I mean, we get that he's mourning his son, but he just killed an innocent person.
Now, yesterday we discussed the story of Shiloh Hendricks, the woman who has now raised hundreds of thousands of dollars after using a racial slur at a playground.
The N-word.
What's happening now with Rodney Hinton is yet another example of why Shiloh Hendricks raised all that money. You know, if you're saying that justice is somehow served by the execution of a random white police officer in the name of defending a thug who stole a car and flashed a gun, and many people are saying this, then you don't get to clutch your pearls because of Shiloh Hendricks. I mean, the standards are so wildly out of whack that it's just not sustainable. That's what we're experiencing right now. Okay? Like saying it's okay if we kill people, but not okay if you use naughty language. That's not just a double standard. That's flat out madness. That's a kind of moral schizophrenia. And again, it's an unsustainable approach. It can't continue this way. And with every day, it becomes more and more apparent that we simply cannot continue on this trajectory. You know, people are tired of it. If large numbers of black people are openly defending and cheering for actual murderers who kill white people in cold blood, then you cannot tell white people that they have to make a big show of condemning a woman who said a bad word. And that's especially true as more and more white people are executed without any media attention whatsoever. For example, you probably haven't heard of this story of a 22-year-old woman named Logan Federico in South Carolina. Here she is on the left.
Oh,
and
yeah.
according to the authorities, Logan Federico was...
I think there's some truth into what he's saying, man. I think there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, and he's going to cover some of these white people who the media hasn't really covered who have been killed.
Randomly murdered by a career criminal who was on a spree of thefts, break-ins, and credit card fraud. And that career criminal named 30-year-old named Alexander Dickey.
So he's going to go through a few more examples where basically there are these stories of white people who have been killed by someone who's black just recently and haven't been getting any media attention or anything like that. And he brings up some interesting points, to be sure. But I think that video did a pretty good job of laying out what's going on. You know, he goes over it. He lays out what happened to the father. I wasn't aware of most of this stuff. I just kind of heard rumors and stuff. There's his take. It's certainly a take worth considering. But we're going to hear someone else's take who's completely on the other side. Completely on the other side. This guy is called The Amazing Lucas. Now, full disclosure, I used to watch this guy before the Summer of Love, before the whole BLM stuff. This guy used to be a conservative. And now all of his videos are just absolute race baiting, like crazy stuff, like just insane views. He's just completely gone 180. And I don't know, something happened during the BLM stuff to where he just got triggered. And I mean, he used to be for Trump, he used to be conservative, I mean, the whole 9 yards, and then he just descended more and more. And the things that he says in this video, he's on the other side of Matt Walsh. And we're not going to watch this whole video, but I do want to give this guy a chance. And I want you to listen to what he says and how he describes this case with Rodney Hinton and everything that's going on. Listen to the words that he's saying. I think it's insane.
Rodney Hinton Jr. did nothing wrong.
Like, just starting off, okay, we're in for a show. Holy crap.
Oh my goodness. So let me just say that this is what's supposed to happen. Okay, everyone? Let me just rewind that for those of you in the back who may be hard of hearing. This is what's supposed to happen every single time. Y'all have gotten too accustomed to going out and kumbayaing and doing marches and everything, and we're going to protest. And no. You have to understand that when it comes to the lineage of evil, when it comes to these demons, there's ways to communicate.
Did you hear what he said? When it comes to the lineage of evil, these demons, he's going to keep using that phrase. He's literally talking about all white people. It's insane.
What we've got here
It's crazy, man.
Failure to communicate.
Just listen to him.
And they've communicated to the rest of the world throughout history, if you study it, and they have come, as scripture says, to kill, steal, and destroy.
White people have come to steal, kill, and destroy, and we're demons.
They have ways of communicating with them, okay? And what Rodney Hinton Jr. was attempted to communicate with these demons in order to curb their behavior. That's as simple as that. Because what many of these individuals want, and I just want to be clear, I did a video on, you know, that individual, that other demon, and her fundraising off
the white woman who said the N-word, the other demon.
Just racist behavior. And I want you to understand, if you think that there weren't officers who donated to her campaign, you are sadly mistaken. Okay, you are sadly mistaken. Now, what I also want to say is that I am in no way, shape, or form advocating for any type of violence. Absolutely not, because that is the language of this lineage of evil. That is the language.
The lineage of evil. Look at this guy's face, man. Like, doesn't he seem like he has a demon? Like, doesn't he act like he's possessed? Like there's just something, like, just messed up about him?
Of these demons. I am advocating for something that is absolutely foreign to them, and that is justice. That is correct. What I'm advocating for is justice, because what they have used, unfortunately, is the scripture, and they've used the scripture to torment and to cripple many black generations. I'll say generation after generation after generation. They tell you to turn the other cheek, as when you turn the other cheek, they smack that cheek as well, okay?
Like, this dude is crazy. I swear, I used to watch this guy. He was normal. I was subscribed. He had good takes, base takes. It wasn't always conservative or Republican necessarily. He was fairly based. He was kind of well-rounded. He would sometimes lean a little bit to the left, but he was a conservative and mostly leaned more to the right, and I listened to the things he said, and he had good tanks, and it is insane. Something evil has gotten a hold of this guy, man. Like, just look at his face and the way he's talking and the way he's using the Bible and scripture and stuff in this perverted way.
Well, you have got to forgive, right? You've got to forgive when it came to Botham Jean, and then go crazy hell over Ashley Babbitt. I want you to understand, please do not allow them to use the scripture to cripple your mind into subjugation, okay? Please don't allow that to happen, because that has happened to generations before us, our family members, our mothers, our grandparents. We've seen that. I've seen that. And unfortunately, that's what they've done, and that's what they are continuing to use. And when it comes to this whole talk about segregation, because that's a new thing that these racists and these demons want to talk about. Oh, we got to segregate. We got to segregate. I'm sorry, what? What are you talking about? We tried to have our own towns. We tried to have our own businesses. We tried to have our own families. And what did y'all do? Y'all, every single time, stuck your nose into it. So it has nothing to do.
So segregation was a good thing in his mind, until white people messed it up.
With them, oh, I don't want to be around black people. If they weren't around black people, they would lose their minds because they hate themselves. So the only way that they can cope with hating themselves is to look for someone else. And here we are. we are their forever scapegoat.
To this day.
If the child didn't
It's got a hat with an upside down flag on it. Just notice that.
get an A on the test, black person. If they didn't get the job, black person. If they find out that they, aren't as talented and skillful as they believe themselves to be, black person. That's always how it boils.
So he's saying that white people, if things don't go our way, our scapegoat is always to just blame black people for it.
Down to it.
I disagree.
Black person, and the reason for the black person is usually the Jewish person. That is their mindset. Unfortunately, it's a perpetual mindset of victimization. They are perpetual victims, even though that has never happened.
Victimization? Is that a word? Victimization?
In this country's history.
Damn.
Having said that, when it comes to Rodney Hinton Jr., for
All
those
right.
you may not know,
Here we
Rodney
go.
Hinton Jr. was a loving, caring father who happened to have lost his son due to, a game.
Maybe he was a loving, caring father, but apparently, according to Matt Walsh, his son, 18-year-old, out there stealing cars, illegal weapon, running from the cops, and he lost his life due to
Gang members with badges. That's what they are.
gang members with badges. Right.
Due to state soldiers, okay? And upon seeing the body cam of his son being taken from them, he went out and indiscriminately sent an officer on his way. That's what we'll say. And I just want...
Did you hear that? He went out and indiscriminately sent an officer on his way. You mean murdered? That's the word you're looking for. He went out and murdered somebody. But it's amazing you just kind of cover it up and fluff it up, and it makes it sound less bad,
I want to be clear. Many people are saying, well, Lucas, was it the officer who took his child from him?
Yeah, that's
No.
a good point.
And I want to put this in perspective. They did not know that was Rodney Hinton's Jr. son. They didn't know. There was no rhyme or reason as to, well, we're going to attack his son. So it is absolutely reasonable what Rodney Hinton Jr. did. He did the same thing they did to his son. Indiscriminate yeeting, we'll say. That's
indiscriminate yeeting. I mean, what do you say about this? Like how can you... it's insane. His take is the officers didn't know that they were murdering this guy's son. It was indiscriminate, apparently. And so, for the father to go out and indiscriminately just kill an officer, that makes it fine. And this guy he calls them devils? Yeah, no. He calls us devils? Dude, this dude, he's got a demon. If you believe in demons, this dude's got a demon.
Exactly what he did. So he didn't know the officer that he sent along his way into the afterlife, just as they didn't know the son that they took and sent along to the afterlife. Now, what I would argue, perhaps y'all should be a little more careful with who you target, because not every father is going to have a rally.
Yeah, sounds like a threat. Don't target us or we'll, there'll be more of this.
Every father is going to have a protest and a conference. Some of these fathers are going to go, let's just say, they're going to go the Punisher route. That's what they're going to go. And I think...
Which is the wrong thing to do. Going out and murdering someone for revenge is wrong. A shocking take, I know, but I'm going to stand by that.
Again, not advocating for any form of violence. I'm advocating for justice. That's how that
justice.
works.
So he's claiming that this murder was justice. That the father going out and seeking revenge for his son who was shot and just killing this random cop, that's justice.
I just want you to understand.
That's an insane take.
The racists are going to say, because I can already hear them screaming, oh, well, Lucas, what about the body cam? What about the... let me just be clear. In the body cam footage, not in any point in time did his son point a gun at the officers. Did he have a gun? Absolutely. That is his Second Amendment right to have a gun. Now, I want you
Pretty sure it was an illegal gun.
Understand, the issue is not his son having a gun. That's not the issue. The issue is with a black son having a gun. As we've seen time and time before,
the issue isn't about the evidence or about the situation or about the illegal car or illegal gun or them running from the cops. The issue is just skin color.
Videos on this. We had a woman, I think it was Briston. She went into the police department with a gun, fired the gun. Listen to me. She went into a police department.
So he gives some examples.
With a loaded firearm. Fired the gun. They took her. She's safe and sound. They took her in. They
arrested her. They also took in the father safe and sound, and they didn't shoot him.
Took her into custody.
There's another guy.
he was hitting him. This individual taken into custody. You want to know how long this individual got? 1 year. So I can go on and on and on about stories like this. The issue is never. Let me just.
So I can't watch anymore. The rest of the video is just this never-ending, you know, race. Insane take. But there you have it. There's the story of Rodney Hinton. I thought I'd give a couple different perspectives. There is one perspective. I think Matt Walsh's take was actually pretty reasonable. I think he broke down everything pretty decently. I agreed with most of the stuff that he said. Very tragic story overall. You know, it's I don't get it. Like, if your son is out there doing that kind of stuff at that age, like he said, you're not responsible for everything your kid does. Kids do stupid stuff. But if they're out there literally stealing cars, they have legal guns, and you know, they're running from the cops and getting pulled over and stuff like that, like you said, you've pretty much have failed. Like, that's an L, man. And it's horrible that the kid died. Maybe he could have turned his life around. You know, the cops acted. They're trying to survive. You know, they got families to go home to. So it's horrible that the kid died. You know, that's a horrible thing. And the father absolutely has the right to mourn. But to go out and then seek revenge, and then to just be in that courtroom after killing a cop and then acting all proud about it, it's horrible. And the fact that people are defending this guy and it's just like making him out to be a hero, I just don't understand it. I think that's an L take. I think it's a really stupid take. And after, you know, I've heard a few different takes, but after hearing Lucas's take, yeah, this dude is gone, man. That dude is gone. He is like demon possessed all the way. It's insane justifying that. But I wanted to cover the story. I thought it was very interesting, and it definitely feels like racial stuff is heating up again, like we're gearing up for another summer of love. God, I hope not. We'll see how it goes. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think that I'm just a horrible, racist, ignorant person? Or do you agree with me? What do you disagree with me? What do you agree? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Please leave that. And also don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when my new videos drop. Really do appreciate it. Till next time, guys, have a great freaking day.